ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
I want to play a series of clips from Ronan Farrow, one of the few journalists that I actually feel like is not doing it for clicks and money, because he doesn't have to do it. That's Mia Farrow's son. He's solvent. He's out here. He's been doing a lot. I think he's the reason why we know about Harvey Weinstein and a bunch of other stuff. That young man has been doing the work. Well, he's been studying now this Christian nationalism. I'm putting up air quotes around Christian. They're not Christians at all. They're racist, white nationalists. Christianity hasn't leave Christ out of it. He has nothing to do with this. And he breaks down what's really going on here, and I appreciate it. So I've broken this into five different clips that I'm going to play, each one at a time. Play the first one, Smiz.
In the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, there has been a lot of discussion about the far-right movement he was a part of. But the far right is a spectrum of different movements, and understanding them might help you understand what's happening in America. First, Christian nationalism. This group's leaders, like Kirk and Marjorie Taylor Greene, tap into valid frustrations with broken systems, but also exploit xenophobia and racism. They believe that the U.S. was founded as and must be restored to a Christian state. For many of them, that means white dominance, and non-white immigration and multiculturalism are threats. Kirk himself said, quote, "You cannot have liberty if you don't have a Christian population," and called the Civil Rights Act a, quote, "huge mistake." The movement works within the system, and its leaders don't openly call for violence, but their rage-baiting rhetoric has inspired it, with adherents participating in the January 6th attack.
Yes. We should definitely understand, and the reason why I'm playing these series of clips, because as we start to strategize, we should be mindful that if we double down on building our community and being in places where we can build our community, because some of us are in places where we can't, perhaps we need to start thinking about where we can go. Maybe within this country, maybe we can flood Texas and change the complexion there. Or maybe we can take a state like North Dakota or South Dakota and go en masse with a plan, because they have 2 senators. Can you have power? Yes. They don't even have 1 million people there. 1 million people from Brooklyn could go there and overnight change the trajectory of the entire state. I'm just saying these things can happen, but it requires leadership and vision. So yes, this is always, it's whiteness. They call it Christian. It's not. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's not a friend. She's just mad that her people are being harmed by this administration, and that wasn't the deal that they made. So she calling it out, but make no bones about it. That cloven foot person is not your friend. None of the politicians are, but she particularly does not see you as human. Let's go to part 2, Smiz.
A different strain is the techno-authoritarian or dark enlightenment movement, pushed by Curtis Yarvin and Silicon Valley billionaire supporters like Peter Thiel. They hold that democracy has failed and want an authoritarian society run like a corporation by an unelected CEO monarch and enforcing a stratified racial hierarchy based on pseudoscience.
If you really want to dig into that from a very entertaining perspective, South Park has been hitting it out of the park every damn episode. Can I just say, I don't know, these guys, and this is what freedom looks like. They signed a $1 billion deal, and Paramount, is it Paramount Plus? Yeah, Paramount Plus, they're going to get their money's worth, okay? This is how you know it's money that rules everything. Cash rules everything around us. You think they would shut this down, but they're not, because they got $1 billion invested, so they're going to let them cook. And they have been cooking. They cooked Peter Thiel. Oh, my goodness. In the last episode, South Park, check it out. It's a fun way to get into, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, figure out what's really happening. But what's scary is all the levers are being pulled at once. So you have government, which they have figured out locally how to seize power, and then the local power turned into the federal power, and now we're under this authoritarian rule and regime because 90-something million people decided that it wasn't worth their time to vote because the bird has two wings, and I'm not voting for any of this. But we are under this because of you. Thank you for not participating in your own liberation, and now your non-participation has created all of us to be in this pot. Then you got the tech guys who have no souls, by the way. They're not good people. Elon Musk being not even the worst of them. I think there are people that are way worse than Elon Musk that we don't even know their names, but they sit with their little incel selves, with their little unformed, undeveloped, no humanity, building the tech that we are under the yoke of. And, what happened with the Amazon servers, which are ubiquitous, by the way. Just about every major company, banks, or whatever, are on these servers. It was scary, but also a nod to what could happen. And these folk, they didn't just show up to the White House with the check. They've been over there in London. And it reminds me of the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg and all these people making decisions about the rest of the world, divvying up the continent of Africa. They're doing it now in real time. And we're watching it. We got a front row seat. Are we paying attention? Play part 3.
Finally, a view gaining ground across the far right is accelerationism. That's the belief that society is just beyond saving, and its collapse needs to be hastened. This view is held by many within the Groyper movement, which is led by Nick Fuentes and seeks to establish a white, Christian, anti-Semitic, authoritarian state. It's named after its racist meme toad mascot. Fuentes avoids direct calls to violence, but his followers rely on online harassment, including threats of violence against political opponents and minorities. Some were also charged for their role on January 6th.
So you got those guys. And again, they may say some things that sound, they're fighting Trump or whatever. No, they're on message. They know what the script is. They know what it is that they're supposed to do, and everybody's playing their part. It's actually kind of, I don't want to say brilliant, but watching this play out, I'm like, they're in concert. This is incredible. Okay, play part 4.
The Boogaloo movement, on the other hand, explicitly calls for violence against the government. Its name, drawn from memes about the 80s movie Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, is a reference to a second civil war. Self-described Boogaloo boys have been convicted of domestic terrorism plots and murders of government officials.
Where have we seen that? I mean, we can go back to Gabrielle Giffords, but violence is the key. Terror is the key, and they have their wing, and we're seeing it play out with the ICE people with their faces covered. And we just saw yesterday Hakeem Jeffries, the person that threatened his life, was a Trump supporting January 6er, who he pardoned all of them because he needs a terror group out on them streets that have the authority to round us up. I just saw a postal worker was harassed by ICE with the mail, with your mail, with my mail in his bag, and he ended up having to call his supervisor to verify that he wasn't impersonating. And he heard, like, they were saying he's impersonating a postal worker. And it was a regular black guy. The temperature is going to be raised. Are you not just prepared? Because, again, I started off talking about anger for a reason. You're going to be goaded into being infuriated during these times. I don't know how it's going to show up. Maybe it's going to be at, somebody feeling froggy at a restaurant or in a store or something. But we are going to have to be so, not just disciplined, but so focused on what the end goal is. Does this align with the thing that I'm trying to get done? No. Personally, okay, nope, it doesn't. Then I'm not going to respond, because the reaction is they feel like they know us. There's a line that Danielle Deadweiler in 40 Acres, which I'm watching, I'll talk more about on Friday. She said, "You don't know me. You don't know me." She kept saying this to a character in there. "You don't know me." And it was the way she delivered it was very funny. She used the B word, by the way, so I don't want to trigger anybody, but yeah. How she said it was so poignant because it was so true. They don't really know us, but that requires us to know ourselves. Some of us are walking around impostoring. Some of us are walking around not knowing who we really are, what our power really is, what it is that we were sent here to do. And we're not really confident in that. We are letting life lead us. We're not leading our lives. And I think it's important, if you do nothing else as Wellness Wednesday, is map out a plan over the next 12 to 18 months about how you're going to be the best version of yourself, and really get to know who you are and what things trigger you, what things bother you, what things you need to work on, what things that you need to shore up. Is it your health? Because we might have to, be out in them streets walking to a place to get food. Can you walk 2 miles? Can you walk 3 miles every day? Do a little bit. If you haven't gotten in 10,000 steps, start with 1,000. How's your diet? How much processed food? Let's start really reducing the harm to ourselves, and then really spend some time with yourself. Sit with yourself. Talk to yourself. Regarding, I'm looking in the Nubia chat, Sibo Campbell coming through. What I'm going to do after we finish our rites of passage with Dr. Daniel Black on a Sunday is start reading the book out loud, certain chapters. We're going to read from the book. I know a lot of you have already read the book, Sky Full of Elephants, but we're going to read it again together in community, because I think just like a classroom, when you read in a class, so many questions get tossed around and you get to hear other people's opinion and perspectives, and it just enriches the whole entire process. And I would love to see what it feels like. Dr. Carr does it on Mondays. He reads, but for us to read, each of us take a couple of pages, a chapter, and talk about it. And we'll do that for like 3 weeks. And then he'll come in on the 4th week and we'll have a conversation with him. So that's going to happen. We're going to start it in mid-November. So get ready. And so let's play part 5 of this. Ronan
A more personal nihilism is embodied in the black pill worldview, which cuts across these movements. Its adherents often identify as incels, and they want to destroy the progressive society that empowered women to reject them. The name comes from The Matrix, which is ironic since that film's directors have said that the pills were a trans allegory. Black pill followers are mainly misogynistic, but they have a lot of natural overlap with white supremacists. Most are passive, but the philosophy has inspired several mass murders. People in this country are hurting. They are frustrated with systems that are rigged against them. You can see how those anxieties are exploited in these groups and their visions, from building an authoritarian state to just watching the world burn.
I play this so we know, but let me say I'm not spending not one iota, not one moment of time countering any of these movements. I think if we double down on the things that we want to build and do it together and do it in community and do it in harmony and focus on that, those things will wither on the vine, because the energy that powers this, while it is strong, it doesn't have any stamina. And we need to have stamina.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will